Our first segment about United Way does such incredible work in our community and has for a long time. And as I mentioned, they constantly need your support to pull off the feats that they do each and every day. LaVerne Gold is the president and CEO of United Way of the CSRA. Sylvia Beam, the development director at Hope House, one of the 25 member agencies of United Way. Sylvia and LaVerne, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have both of y'all here. LaVerne, you know, we were talking about year end.
Yes.
That is unfortunately a time of year when people kind of forget about y'all.
They kind of forget about us, and they kind of forget about charities in general, but we want to encourage the community to not forget about United Way. You know, every year we have to come to the community asking for their support. Our goal this year is $3.4 million. We're about 47% of that, and we'd like to be 50% and above. We'll run our campaign through February when we have our annual meeting on February the 27th at the Augusta Marriott. But we got a little ways to go, and so we need the community to really step up and help us out with that.
Who are you talking to right now? Corporations or individuals?
Both corporations and individuals, and small businesses too. If they haven't had an opportunity to give, we want them to not forget us during the season. And for those individuals who are not at a work site, retirees, would love to have them to be able to help us out during this campaign time.
All right, I want to talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment, but first, Sylvia, we welcome you back to the Means Report, Development Director at Hope House, a place where women can go to get treated for substance abuse and addiction and recover from that. And let's just say that it is an understatement to say that you have a lot of credibility in that department. You come from a place that lets you connect with the clients at Hope House. And so my question to you is, how is it going over there? We wish that you didn't have any clients, but you do. And how are your efforts at Hope House right now?
So, I mean, we have a great need in our community. We had over 1,000 people apply for our program last year, and we're able to serve on average 100 families per year. Wow. So that just goes to show the need in our community.
And what kind of services do you provide? Is this a place where they come and stay, and if so, for how long, and until they get on the right track?
So we have 42 apartments on campus, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, depending on the family size. So at any given time, 42 families will be there. You know, we have, our services range from, we have a therapeutic child care center, which United Way funds that program, and our Ready for Work program. So women are able to pick up the pieces and get their life back together, and then there's an atmosphere for their children. It's the only facility in 13 counties where kids can come with the mom. So they're able to focus on, you know, tackling issues that they may have had. Because a lot of times they've been through some pretty rough stuff by the time that they've gotten to us. But we provide individual counseling, group counseling, parenting courses, life skills. You know, being a former resident there myself and now having the honor to work there, I really just learned how to live life again, and it was such a, being in a safe and sober environment and having that support really made a difference for me in my life.
Well, you're not just living your life, you're thriving, and this community celebrates you, Sylvia. What is the most common problem or addiction or issue that someone has when they come through your front door?
Well, we're seeing a rise in the opioid epidemic.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of the women, the state sets a priority that pregnant IV users get top priority, and then IV users. So we have a lot of women right now who are in that bracket that are a high priority for us.
LaVerne, how do you decide? Yes. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I'm waiting on you.
I was just going to ask, how do you decide who gets how much money? 25 member agencies is a lot. We want your campaign to exceed its goals.
Absolutely.
What happens after that?
Well, after the dollars are collected, then we have a panel of volunteers, about 70 that go out every year and review the agencies. They're looking at outcomes, and Sylvia just talked about some outcomes with the Hope House. They're looking at their financial status, they're looking at their capacity to provide the program and the quality of the program, and these volunteers really do an in-depth job of making decisions on who gets what. So it's not just United Way staff, it is volunteers, people who are givers and donors who, you know, take their time to really investigate the agencies and make recommendations of which our board then receives and then responds to.
What's a good amount for an individual or someone who's part of a huge corporation to think about paycheck by paycheck that they could give?
Well, you know, we try to encourage people to do what we call the minimum, which gets them into what we call the Caring Club, which is $150 a year that entitles you to access to about 50 vendors that provide discounts throughout the year. You know, Jiffy Lube provides a 15% discount on all services anywhere in the CSRA. French Market provides a free dessert. Lots of restaurants providing all kinds of discounts when you come there. Some is buy one, get one free. So that's a win-win-win. Not only does it provide services to the person who is using the Caring Club, but it also sends businesses to that particular venue, and then the more dollars that are raised, more we're able to put back into the community.
All right, that's wonderful. And
$150 a year is, you know, less than what $5
sure.
a month?
Yeah, people can swing that.
Sure, that's a cup of coffee a month.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and we could all do without one of those fancy cups of coffee
yes,
at least one
absolutely.
time a month.
Absolutely.
Sylvia, we talked about the women and families who come in your door. What do they look like when they leave? Where do they go after Hope House?
So I've seen so many women just in whenever I was a resident there and then also working there that have just completely changed their lives. And a lot of times I'll be out in the community telling my story, and oftentimes people think that, well, you're just the exception to the rule, and that is not true. We have a 67% success rate in our program, and women, we recover, we become tax-paying citizens, we become valued members of society again. Women who are living with a substance use disorder, there's hope. Oftentimes we hear about all the negative stories in the media on addiction, but recovery is very real. There's over 23 million Americans in recovery today.
Do people's problems get worse this time of year across the board? Do you see that?
Absolutely. A lot of people are depressed. A lot of people don't have family support. They don't have the traditional family atmosphere that you and I are accustomed to. So we do have a lot of folks who end up with depression, and sometimes that depression will lead to excessive use of substance abuse, and so sometimes people end up in our programs like that. The good thing about United Way is that we have 46 programs that are outcome-based, and so it is just probably the best way that an individual can help support the entire community.
You probably already answered this question when you talked about how affordable it is to donate, but what if someone says, look, I give to my church, I let my church figure out what to do with the money, that's how I support charitable causes in my town. What would you say to that?
I'd say that that is a great place to start, and I'd also ask them to consider the broader community as well. Things like Hope House, because that church may not focus on that. They may focus on one particular issue, but when they give to United Way, that money gets spread out to so many different programs.
Well, I appreciate the information. I know the campaign is going to finish strong.
We hope so. We're very hopeful that it will. We need the funds. The agencies depend on it.
Well, the community typically pulls through.
Absolutely.
Historically, we have huge celebrations in February at the meeting. Sylvia, anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't miss anything. If there's anyone out there watching, I would just, I know that people who are struggling with addiction, it can seem like a really dark time for not only the person who's going through it, but for the family members as well. But there is hope out there, and out of anything, that would be my biggest comment.
Well, I could not have said it better myself. And remember Sylvia's words, folks. If you're in your darkest hour, LaVerne, Sylvia, and their team at United Way are here to help you always. And for those of you who aren't in your darkest hour, thanks for helping those who are. United Way, the CSRA, we have the information right here on your screen, how you can help them do the most good. There's their website, there's their address, and there's their telephone number.